Good morning and welcome. It's a slightly dull morning here in Northumberland. It's Sunday the 16th of August. We're hoping that the dry weather of this morning will continue through the morning as we're having an open air service at Beadnell at 10 o'clock. You might keep us in your prayers that it's the first time the church in Beadnell has had the opportunity to come together since services stopped in March. So it's an important day for us. We come together on a day when the gospel's one of those that sometimes preachers don't exactly relish. A number of people on social media have said today and this week, "Oh, I'm glad I'm not preaching on Sunday. It's the story of the Syrophoenician woman." And that's because it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one because it's hard to make sense of it completely. This story happens just after Jesus has been speaking about a challenge really to the Jewish law about dietary things. He's saying it's not so important what you eat, but what comes out of you that is important. The dietary laws are not the key thing, but what comes from your heart and your spirit and is spoken to others is much more important. And those are the things we're used to Jesus saying. But in this encounter with the Syrophoenician woman, he seems to revert back to a sort of Jewish male stereotype. I'm not here for you. I'm here for the lost tribe of Israel. Is it right to give the children's bread to the dogs? It's some of those things that Jesus says. And although the word for dogs, I'm told by scholars, is more of a puppy thing, it's a little bit more friendly than cur or something like that. There is something here, and we don't really know what Jesus' motives was. What is he doing? What he sometimes does, over-exaggerating something in order to make a point. So is he using a device of this stereotype to challenge it and to open up the church? Or is he himself, in his development, in his understanding, having to expand what his vocation is, who he has really come for? Has he just come for a particular set of people, the Jewish people, or is he here that everyone may have abundance of life? And nobody knows, and we can take our choice. But what is truly important here is that there is an expansion in understanding. And Matthew, the most Jewish people would say of the gospel writers, records it as showing something that's very important. Even Matthew, who focuses on the Jewish tradition of Jesus, shows that Jesus is coming for someone else. The woman says, firstly, even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table. And Jesus answered her, "Great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish." And her daughter was healed. Jesus' love goes out beyond the bounds, the boundaries of the Jewish faith. That's important for us because most of us come from a tradition beyond the Jewish faith. But Jesus wants to feed us, to heal us, to renew us. We, in the words of the prayer of humble access, are not worthy to gather up the crumbs from God's table. And yet God wants to feed us with his life, with his body, with his blood, that we may be united to him and know healing and peace. I have celebrated the Eucharist only a very few times, a handful of times, in the last 6 months. But today will be another of those privileges, to take, to bless, to share so that the life of Christ, the Eucharistic life of Christ, may be shared for the people of God, that we may feed on Christ, who wants to give us healing and peace and new life. We gather the crumbs so that we may be what we eat, closer to Christ and filled with his love. May God bless us.